So thanks so much for giving us the opportunity to speak here and present the German National Quantum Technology Ecosystem and Program. My name is Suhren and I'm with the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. Next slide, please. I can do it myself. Okay, so I'll start out by showing you a brief timeline of the Quantum Technologies Program in Germany, and I just want to point out 2 or 3 things here. So first of all, things started to really speed up in Germany in 2018 with the launch of the first governmental program for quantum technologies. Then there was a major boost in the field by the stimulus packages launched in 2020 associated with COVID, and they injected fresh 2 billion euros of funding into the quantum technology ecosystem. And then more recently, we could launch the second phase, a new governmental program in 2023. And this really renewed the commitment of the federal government to fund this field. And this is shown here. So this program launched in 23 will run for 4 years. Always these programs are loosely associated with the electoral term in Germany. And so it will run to 26. And it is carried most of all by our ministry, the Ministry of Education and Research, as well as our colleagues from the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action. And the planned budget for this program is 2.2 billion euros. Only in the budgets of the ministries, plus an additional 850 million euros within the budgets of the large research institutions in Germany, such as Helmholtz, Fraunhofer, and Max Planck. So altogether, you can say that there's, until 2026, 3 billion euros of public funding for quantum technologies in Germany. The program, the government-level program, is then implemented by the ministries, which are quite independent in Germany. And in our case, we're implementing this through an additional program called Quantum Systems. And the only thing I want to point out here is that this program actually runs much longer than the federal level program, because we're not hooked as tightly to the electoral term. So this program will run for 10 years and really is a long-term commitment of our ministry to fund this challenging field of research. Then a brief glimpse on how the German program is structured. So we have, unsurprisingly, 3 technology columns, computing, sensing, and communication. And then there's cross-cutting pillars, so creating networks between different stakeholders and actors in the ecosystem, between academia and industry, then enabling technologies, workforce and outreach, as well as international cooperation. And to give you a little bit of a flavor of what's behind these, first of all, the technology pillars, let me give some examples. So we had a number of calls, research calls, funding quantum computing hardware. The largest one was alone worth 300 million euros of R&D funding, the largest project in superconducting qubits, around 70 million euros. This is complemented by activities from our friends from the Ministry of Economic Affairs, who do the quantum computing initiative by DLR. So they do procurement type action for quantum computing hardware. And then we fund, of course, the whole software stack all the way to use cases. In sensing, we fund lighthouse projects, really trying to go after first really useful use cases there. We think these might be in sensing. And then in communication, we fund the typical 2 fields of quantum communication itself, but also post-quantum cryptography, of course. Then here's some slightly random examples of companies. So we're really lucky in Germany that lots of startups came up in the last couple of years, also we think pushed through the extensive funding, and we could have shown a lot more here, but these are just some examples. So for computing hardware, for example, you have Electron, you have Planck, and you have IQM, which is Finnish German, I should say. Then for software, you have, for example, Quantum, HQS, and one good thing about the German ecosystem is maybe that there's also established industry players quite interested in quantum computing. So the bottom two are here Covestro and BASF. So these are chemical companies which are quite engaged in projects around quantum computing. Also in sensing many new startups, many of them in southern Germany, around Stuttgart, and also in communications, new startups coming up, some of them system providers, some of them component providers. Then I want to give you a brief sort of geographic glimpse into the German ecosystem. Not sure if this is very well visible actually, but so this is a map of Germany, and so mapped on it are all the entities receiving funding from us, only in quantum computing, I should say. And the larger the bubble, basically, the more funding. And you can see, first of all, that it's quite distributed throughout Germany with lots of collaboration indicated by these lines here. But there are also definitely some clusters or hotspots forming. So towards the west of Germany, you will have Aachen and Jülich, which is also a supercomputing center you might know. Towards the south, you have the Stuttgart and Munich. And then moving up to the east, you have Jena, traditionally great for optics. So Zeiss is located there, for instance, and Dresden, where there's also some fabs. More and more things coming up in Berlin, also in the east. And then in the very top, you have Hamburg, and below that, slightly scattered, the Quantum Valley, Lower Saxony. Then some more points on the cross-cutting pillars, and I'm just going to highlight a few things here. So for enabling technologies, actually, we just launched a new call. We think these enabling technologies are extremely crucial to scale the whole technology, of course. And so for this reason, this call is also running over multiple years with several deadlines to propose projects. In the area of workforce, we're very active. We launched the Quantum Future Initiative 3 years ago with various activities, and are also working on a new concept likely coming out in fall, which will likely then have some follow-up activities. And in international cooperation, we're very active, of course, traditionally in the European formats, Horizon, the flagship, Euro-HPC, and so on. More recently, though, we also launched a dedicated funding call for cooperation with like-minded countries around the globe. This is called Quantum International, and this is designed to be sort of a flexible framework call enabling at least many kinds of cooperation with like-minded countries. And for instance, we funneled the recent Eureka Applied Quantum call, which was out this year, through this administrative framework. Then let me finish by showing you some again, slightly random news from the last year of the German quantum ecosystem. So one news item was that actually a quantum computer by IQM with 20 qubits was installed at a German supercomputing center in Munich. So now they're going to really go there for research on the interface between these two types of computing, and the services should be available through the cloud also later on. On the bottom left, you see that Planck raised 50 million euros. So that's a startup working on neutral atom-based quantum computing, and 50 million euros is quite a substantial sum in Europe, I would say. And then on the right upper corner, you see that Quant, so that's a sensing company, but also a company that does photonic quantum computing, had a breakthrough in using magnetic field sensors to control prosthesis. So we think this is one promising application field for quantum sensing. And the last bit there, just to highlight, this is just an example that the education system in Germany is coming up with more and more courses for quantum technologies, really educating the workforce that we need to bring this field to the future. And with this, thanks for your kind attention.